This is a Hot Pie Original.
Here come your political heroes. And honestly, you can't really blame them. They act as if they've been completely blindsided, and that may be true, which is a pretty amazing story by itself. How can your political heroes scramble, get enough power together, find enough friends with money, and find enough friends with an R next to their name? Because the governor of Texas doesn't appear to be paying much attention because he needs to talk to Fox News. So it's a weird place that your political heroes find themselves, but they're going to try to find a way. They're in the process of trying to find a way to stop the University of Texas from blowing up the Big 12 and going to the SEC. There are two giant problems, of course, with this effort to stop Big Brother from taking the money and breaking up with you. That's really, if you want to use analogies, that's really what's going on here. The University of Texas has all the money, has all the power, and decides to take its money and its power and break up with you. Found somebody else. And not only are the other schools have their feelings hurt, but they're mad, and some would say for pretty good reason, because the way this thing is set up. Two problems, though. One, the governor has not added the latest legislation. And yes, of course, there is legislation to stop this from happening. And it's not that surprising. And I don't know that when I give you a little tutorial on why this really matters, I'm not sure you blame them. But there's that giant problem. He's not added any legislation to the special session because, number two, he's worried about Fox News clickbait, and the Fox News crowd probably could care less about the money in college football. So he needs to talk about non-existent issues like transgendered athletes in high school sports or made-up issues like voter fraud. The audience is just not there to hear the complaints about Texas breaking up with everyone else. But they're coming at it, and they're coming at it making some pretty serious threats. Just to explain the politics and the economics of the University of Texas, here you go. And I'm not even getting into great detail because it'll bore you, but for people that don't realize that politics is weaving its way through this, you're pretty naive. Go way back in time. The University of Texas has thousands and thousands of acres of oil-producing land. That is something called the Permanent University Fund. The Permanent University Fund, over time, whatever you think of the oil business now, doesn't really matter because over time, that has turned into billions of dollars. So the University of Texas gets a disproportionate share, I'm not even sure the exact number, a largely disproportionate share of the money generated from the Permanent University Fund. In other words, politically and financially, it's the big brother. It has been made the big brother by the Texas legislature. That's the way it is. So when they're screaming and yelling, saying, wait a minute, we don't even get our fair share, they're right. They've already picked the winner in this, and they picked the winner in this over time. And the winner is the richest kid there is, the University of Texas. They set it up for them to be the richest kid there is. So you can see why there's always been this big brother complex, because you have everything. You have everything set up for you, and you've made a bunch of money. So have we, but you've made all the money. And now you can't make all the money and have preferential treatment from the politicians and turn around and break up with us. It's just not fair. Okay, now they're mad. Now they're going to file laws to stop it from happening. I don't think they're going to get anywhere. But because I don't think the guy who's most important, it's rare that the governor does a heck of a lot, but right now he's really busy. It could be, and it would be a brilliant behind the scenes move for the University of Texas to do this when the governor of Texas is paying the least attention any governor has ever paid to anything in this state. Not even Rick Perry when he wanted to be president, that goofball Rick Perry. Not even he was paying less attention than Greg. Greg Abbott is desperate for Fox News. He cannot be bothered with stuff like the University of Texas blowing up the Big 12. At least that's the appearance. So here it comes. Yeah, there are laws. Yeah, there are bills. And yes, it's going to be interesting to watch. And I do think at some level, especially the screaming that's coming out of West Texas, the Texas Tech is saying, you know what? Look, we're not a private school like Baylor or TCU. We're part of this system, and it's not quite fair. So they're mad. And they're not going to get anything, but they're mad. Here you go. Report today from KHOU out of Houston. A group of Texas lawmakers filed legislation that would prohibit Texas public colleges and universities from switching their affiliations with collegiate athletic conferences without approval from the legislature. In other words, they want to go back and say, let's talk about this. When they say public colleges, they mean the. The move, of course, is in response to the University of Texas and the University of Oklahoma preparing to exit the Big 12. House Bill 298, filed by Representative Dustin Burrows of Lubbock. Yeah, he's right. We're screwed. We need their money. He has more than 30 co-authors of the bill. Big problem again is it's like they're standing outside the governor's window waving at him, and he's got his MAGA hat on and not paying any attention whatsoever. They really, really need this guy right now. They need him to stop talking about fake transgendered athletes in high school sports and fake voter fraud, and they need him to listen. And I don't think he can hear them because he's got the MAGA hat on. He's got the earpiece in at Fox News. I think he's on there all the time. Wait, will they go to me now? Can I talk to him now, please, now? So this is a weird setup. I would think most of the time when the governor is not obsessing over wearing a MAGA hat and talking to Fox News, I think most other times in history, the governor might listen. Now, he might listen and say, get out of my face. Who cares? Texas Tech, blah, blah. You're going nowhere. But I think you can make a pretty good argument. The governor might listen. Hey, look, it's 30 people, including one with an R next to his name, saying, you can't let this happen to us, man. We live in a horrible place as it is. We're going to dry up. Yeah. So, in other words, it has to get to the special session, or there has to be something done by the governor to give these folks a chance to block the move. I got to believe that the people at Texas were smart enough to see what to do, powerful enough to have enough wealthy people to say, back off, Lubbock boy, you're not going to get what you want. I'm sure they've already thought all this through and maybe even thought it through to the point that we know the governor is not paying attention and now's the time to leave. He's not even looking. He's like staring at that camera for Fox News. So let's just get out of here now. Then, so they have a point. I mean, they really do have a legitimate point saying, okay, politically and legally and financially, you are set up to have more than we do. That's not cool, but we've lived with it for a long, long time. You know what? Now you're going to leave us high and dry, and that's not fair either because we need the money. You got all the money, you got all the power, you got to be the big brother, so you can see how they're coming from a place of, wait a minute, you get all the advantages, so we'd like to take some of those advantages back. Then this morning, the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, probably sensing the politically popular thing to do is to say Texas is breaking up with everyone and going to bankrupt them. TCU is completely screwed, but that's a private school. They're screwed. As Texas shrugs at its brothers and sisters throughout the state, and Oklahoma looks away when Oklahoma State glances its way, there is one school in this mess whose frustrations exceed that of Texas A&M. You know, the Aggies, I told you last week, stop whining. At least publicly stop whining. You look like you're crying. And I think somebody over the weekend said, I know we're mad. I know we have an inferiority complex. I know we don't want Big Brother again. But don't say it publicly because you look like crybabies. Your every Aggie joke playing itself out. Sure enough, over the weekend, the president of A&M issued a statement, a very diplomatic statement, and it sounded less like they're crying. I think the Aggies have understood now we can't keep whining like this. It's just a bad look. It's going to happen even if we don't want it to. So as private schools, both TCU and Baylor are allowed to, quote, feel what they feel, whatever that means. But since neither is a state school, their respective sphere of pain should not compare to the people of West Texas. I don't know, but that feels a little dramatic. Spare me the excuses that the athletic departments run on separate budgets. Both of these schools receive state money, and as such, Texas owed Texas Tech and Texas A&M transparency. The University of Texas is not the monster it is today without the land that it owns in West Texas, true, and the oil and gas rights derived from those that have made the endowment of both UT and A&M among the biggest in the nation. Yeah, I don't even know what the number is. I'm just telling you, it's billions of dollars. UT leaving the Big 12 and the SEC would devalue Texas Tech and damage local businesses in Lubbock. More than 30 Texas lawmakers authored House Bill 298 in Austin that would stop athletic universities from switching their conferences. The bill is not on Governor Greg Abbott's special session agenda, meaning it's mostly toothless. So then it goes on to just rip the University of Texas, saying you're a bad partner, you're cheating on us. I mean, every sort of marriage analogy you can come up with, and they're all probably pretty accurate. They're right. I mean, you can't blame a state school, Texas Tech, from saying, you didn't even tell us. Like, you've been cheating on us. You didn't even tell us. You didn't even give a hint. There's not even a Facebook picture of the girl. You screwed us over, and we got to fight back. So they're trying. And it's a pretty interesting political fight that historically would have had teeth. I'm not even sure that you could say 2 years ago it might have had teeth. But I think right now, given that the guy who can probably at least give you room to run, at least give you a chance to make some noise to try to stop it, the person who could say, you know what, whoa, Texas, back off, let everybody get in here, let's talk, let's complain, let's point fingers, let's try to take some of the money. That guy, last time I checked, that guy, first of all, last time we saw him, he was smiling like it was his prom date or something at Donald Trump. And then over the weekend, sure enough, I'm thinking, okay, is he going to talk? Is Greg Abbott going to talk about this? Is he going to mention it? No. He was on Fox News. Sorry, Texas Tech. Sorry. Sorry, Baylor. Sorry, TCU. Sorry, Aggies. You had some political clout. Sorry. But not once in his rant on Fox News about election fraud did he mention you. Perfect timing, Texas. Horrible timing, Texas Tech. Sorry. He's got the MAGA hat on, and he just can't hear you. Hey, every guy can relate to this. You're tired of wearing those baggy cotton shirts that feel like you're wearing curtains. There's a difference. In fact, I'm wearing the difference. That is the ultra premium basics from goodlifeclothing.com. You'll love the shirts. I've been searching for a long time, like every guy, for the perfect lightweight shirt that looks good if you're in pretty good shape. It's at goodlifeclothing.com. Check them out. You'll see the difference for yourself. You'll feel the difference for yourself. It's the perfect shirt for this time of year in Austin, Texas. So, two things. Go to goodlifeclothing.com. You get a 20% discount if you enter the promo code JeffWard20. That's goodlifeclothing.com. Enter the promo code JeffWard20 or stop by their store domain Northside. You'll love the difference. You'll feel the difference. It's the perfect fit for a guy that's in good shape. It's goodlifeclothing.com, promo code JeffWard20, or stop by their brand new store at Domain Northside. As if it really had to, as if it matters, but I can tell you this, in the last hour, it is now official. Texas, in some official way, some official document, officially just broke up with the Big 12. We're letting them know we're breaking up. Is this like breaking up on Twitter? Is this like breaking up on Facebook? Is this like a text and they're breaking up with you? Either way, it is now official. Texas has just informed the Big 12, you're dead. You just died. Nice knowing you. See ya. Don't call. I'm blocking you. Texas is going to block the Big 12. Don't call me names. KXAN.com is now reporting the University of Texas took the first step in severing ties with the Big 12, telling the league they don't intend to extend their grant of rights agreement with the league when it expires in 2025. This is going to be a pretty interesting, by the way, financial breakup. Because everybody now has to scramble and has to really hurry up because as television rights agreements go. So it was set to end 2025. So you're thinking to yourself, well, Jeff, they don't have to go until 2025. No. Everyone is now got to scramble for the next deal. You got to go find the next payday. And not only does Texas found their next payday, this now means the rest of the league is not going to pay much attention because they need to go find a way to survive. They've got to be on the phone finding a league, finding a television agreement. They got to try to make up this money. So Texas is going to say, okay, you guys come at us. We broke up with you. Done. It's over. Now you guys can figure out what you want to hit us with over the next year or two. I think the real question now is, how much money can there be made if, in fact, they've been negotiating this deal for months? If there's enough money to be made in the SEC, they're going to say, take it. Here, we're going to leave some cash by the door. Goodbye. We're going to play there. We're going to play there right away. I think now it's going to be pretty obvious this thing is going to happen really fast. Ticket prices just went up. To what game, Jeff? Ticket prices just went up. There's no Kansas now. The value of the football games just went up dramatically, and they just went up dramatically, I think, fairly quickly. So Texas issues a statement. The University of Texas and the University of Oklahoma have notified the Big 12 Athletic Conference today that they will not be renewing their grant of media rights following expiration in 2025. If the Big 12 wanted to try, say, okay, you guys stick around to 2025, then what would Texas do? I assume they've thought of that already, and I think they're going to say, screw off, we're breaking up. Keep the money. Keep it. There may be a clause in there that punishes them financially. There may be enough money to be made where they say, here, okay, we'll write you a check right now. Venmo, here's $30 million. Goodbye. This seems to indicate everyone's ready to go. Sorry, Aggies, I think they planned this with or without you, but this sounds like this has been planned. It is reported the buyout could cost $70 million per school. Okay, so there's the threshold. How fast? You understand what you're dealing with here. Money is no object. Let's watch and see how quickly they say, oh, you want to hit us up for 70? All right. So we pay you the 70, we're gone, right? Here, take your 70. Goodbye. Then they're going to go make up that 70 elsewhere. If that is, in fact, what the going rate is to get out and say, we broke up with you, we don't want to see you again, I guess they're going to play, they'll play this year. But it's going to be awkward. Take your 70, we're gone. When do those tickets go on sale? When does that A&M Texas game ticket go on sale? That's pretty cool. They'll make their money back. So that deal sounds like it's done. Goodbye, so long. They broke up via Facebook just now. I'm breaking up with you. Whatever your best breakup story is, they just did it.
From the Hot Pie Media Studios in Austin, Texas, it's the Jeff Ward Show. Listen at jeffwardshow.com.